The Memphis Grizzlies are currently 8th in the Western Conference and have been on a tear since the new year, winning 11 of their 14 games so far in January. Part of that group is Jaren Jackson Jr., the sophomore power forward who has emerged as the team's leading scorer this season.
Jaren, another three.
Averaging 17.7 points, 4.7 rebounds, 1.4 assists, and 1.6 blocks per game this season. Jackson is a unique talent with a game that merits a deeper look.
Wow, 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 wow.
Jackson has basketball bloodlines on both sides of his family, and his parents' reputation preceded him in NBA circles. The father was a defensive-minded 6'4" shooting guard who played 4 years at Georgetown before bouncing around the minor leagues and filling fringe roles in the NBA.
Collins finds Jaren, bothered by Carter, he won't bother.
Throughout Jackson's youth, his father focused their player development work on maximizing his son's utility. On offense, shooting the drills started from the outside in so that he would be comfortable shooting NBA three-pointers.
Share the joy.
Listen, we talked about the team.
On defense, the father drew his own playing style to emphasize lateral quickness and agility, knowing those attributes would carry extra value in a big man. The number 4 overall pick in the 2018 draft, Jackson has improved the scoring by nearly 3 points per game in almost identical minutes, and he's making a higher percentage of his three-pointers, 37% compared to 36% last season, while drastically increasing the volume from 2.4 attempts per game last season to 5.7 so far in the 2019-2020 season.
Oh, a sensational move by the rookie Jaren Jackson Jr. for the Grizzlies.
He's already scored 20 or more points in the 9 games this season, after accomplishing the feat 11 times in 58 games as a rookie. There's never been a player like Jackson before, and it's anybody's guess as to what he'll be in the future. He might end up as the best defensive player of his generation, or perhaps he'll go down as a disappointment due to his fouling woes.
Williams drives, blocked by Jackson. Conley can't save it.
He could be an unstoppable shooter who's unconsciously elite from deep, or maybe this is a fluke year. Simply put, Jaren Jackson Jr. is a basketball anomaly with a skill set the NBA's never seen. The fascination starts with his defense.
That was great defense by Jaren Jackson Jr. to make it a lot tougher for.
There's a very real possibility Jackson ends up being as good as Anthony Davis, a unicorn who flies around the court blocking everything in sight. Jackson is 6'11" with a 7'5" wingspan, similarly proportional to Davis' 6'10" and 7'6" arms. He's slender like Davis, quick as a cat, and has a metronome's timing with his hands. The most amazing part is his agility.
Oh, a sensational move by the rookie Jaren Jackson Jr.
Jackson is more mobile than many guards. He has the perfect body for the modern NBA defender and, more importantly, the IQ to boost. Defense is just natural for Jackson, a fact seen plainly in each swooping chase-down block or blindside steal. Admittedly, the advanced stats don't like him right now. The Grizzlies allow 5.34 fewer points per 100 possessions when Jackson sits. He also has just 1.7 defensive win shares this year. For comparison, other notably elite defensive players like Ben Simmons are at 3.1.
Jaren, another three.
The metrics were kinder in his rookie season, projecting that Memphis was 4.16 points per 100 possessions better when Jackson was on the court, so it's not like Jackson's always been a dud on that end.
Brook Lopez if he wants to.
Now he's going to drive down the lane to the cup, bank it in! Oh, Jaren Jackson, you are special tonight!
So why does Jackson pass the eye test with flying colors but trip up in the defensive metrics?
Williams drives, blocked by Jackson.
Well, it's clear what a precocious defender he already is just by watching, so why don't the impact stats like him? The easiest answer is fouling. Jackson fouls at a rate of 5.2 fouls per 36 minutes. That's why he fouls just 28 minutes a game despite his youth and offensive talent. Jackson's lack of base strength and stability allows stronger players to bully him down low.
That's the pick.
He's forced to foul unnecessarily as he tries to regain his balance during these plays. A flail of wild arms, but it's not because Jackson's uncoordinated or that he's beyond help. In fact, he often stops these bruising possessions prematurely by knocking the ball out before they can get a shot off. And at just 20 years old, he simply hasn't developed the strength to handle the physicality yet. As a result, Jackson's fouls restrain his game. He plays conservatively, afraid of the constant threat of the referee's whistle. A lot of the calls are indeed questionable, but Jackson will learn what gets him whistled. A player can only do so much when they're hesitant to commit physically to a play.
And Grizzlies force Thompson to put it on the deck, and it's blocked by Jaren.
But there's been plenty of elite defensive players who struggled with foul issues early on in their careers. Draymond Green, for instance, was still fouling at a rate of 4.6 fouls per 36 minutes at age 23. Similarly, Meta World Peace committed 4.8 fouls per 36 minutes in his age 22 season. Both players ended up winning Defensive Players of the Year later on. There's hope for Jackson yet, and it's still a hill that others have climbed before. There's something nonsensical to just how quickly he can get his shot off. There are 7-footers who are high-volume three-point shooters like Karl Anthony Towns and Brook Lopez, but their releases are slower. They don't utilize their legs much, relying on the strength and control of their arms. It's easier to shoot that way for a 7-footer, but it's also slower without the quick momentum of the legs. Of course, it works for them because at their height, only opposing bigs can seriously contest their shot. Jackson isn't like that. He shoots faster than most guards with a quick flick of the wrist, shooting on the way up unlike Lopez or Towns. He's launching 6.5 threes a game this season and has made an incredible 40.6% of them. No player in NBA history, 6'11 or above, has attempted over 5 threes a game and made 40%. Jackson and Karl Anthony Towns are on pace to achieve this groundbreaking feat this season. Not to mention, Jackson is a fantastic lob target for the ever alley-oop hungry Morant. Anybody 6'11 with a 7.5-foot wingspan would be. Never mind one as quick and as good timing as Jackson. Jackson doesn't need to learn how to be an elite shot creator to be effective, as long as his point guard has a brain. In fact, if all Jackson did from now on was jack up threes and dunk the ball, he could still grow into a top 10 player in the future. There are only 2 or 3 players on each NBA team that can contest Jackson's jumper at his absurd 9 feet 2 inch standing reach. He's the perfect complementary weapon in any offense and will be the definition of an elite two-way player. There's never been a center in NBA history that was an elite stopper and elite shooter at the same time. Will Jackson lead a team to a championship? Probably not, unless he makes some unprecedented leap in ball handling and post-ups. Will he give every opposing team fits as they try to guard him? Without question. Jackson's shooting pulls every opposing center out to the perimeter. You want to spread offense? Jackson stretches the limits of spacing with his jumper and athleticism. Years of evolution in pace and space have led to Jaren Jackson Jr., the 6'11" center forward hybrid with top-notch defensive skills and mind-boggling accuracy from deep. This isn't about whether or not Jackson can be a true superstar or win an MVP award. It's an appreciation of just how rare a breed he is and his continually expanding ceiling. This is a guy you should be watching as much as possible over the next season. Jackson isn't just breaking the mold, he's smashing it, and you do not want to miss it. On the defensive end, he's used his 7'4" wingspan to be an agitating disruptor, blocking over a shot a game while altering countless shots both at the rim and at the perimeter. While Jackson's talent is obvious early in his career, there are 2 main areas of concern: a lack of rebounding and an inability to stay on the court due to the foul trouble. But it doesn't take all that much effort to find an NBA decision makers that think that Jackson might end up being the most impactful NBA player to come out of the draft class. The reason why is fairly straightforward. He will fit seamlessly into the modern NBA given the combination of skills that he has. He's everything that NBA teams are looking for as a defensive anchor in the era of small ball 5 switching pick and rolls. He's also a capable driver, mostly to his left, when it comes to attacking closeouts, showing flashes of the handle, and the ability to beat bigger and smaller defenders off the bounce. In fact, Jackson's block rate is better than just about every dominant big man that had been picked at the top of the lottery in recent years, including Anthony Davis, and that was despite the fact that he spent the majority of the minutes this season playing the 4. Jackson Jr. is already very, very good and should keep getting a lot better. Defensive plays like this make him seem like a future Defensive Player of the Year candidate and a rightful successor to Marc Gasol in Memphis. He uses every bit of his 7'4" wingspan to his advantage. Modern NBA offenses are looking to space the floor and keep the lane open for dribble drives or rolling big men. Therefore, players who can shoot and keep their defender honest are at an incredible premium in the league, especially at the front court positions. Jackson is already one of the best 3-point shooting big men in the league, shooting 40.7% from beyond the arc this season on a whopping 6.5 attempts per game. He attempts from downtown make up nearly half of his field goal attempts. In a perfect world, Jackson would develop into a defensive nightmare, being able to protect the rim and help defense and switch on to perimeter players in isolation in the mold of an Anthony Davis. However, he must become much more disciplined on the perimeter to become that kind of versatile difference maker for the Memphis Grizzlies. Despite some serious flaws, Jackson Jackson's future looks bright. His combination of size and shooting already makes him a tantalizing young player with any team in the league that would love to have on their roster to develop in years to come. Moreover, many of the worst mistakes are related to the game still being fast to him at times, which will change as he grows more experienced and begins to predict actions instead of simply reacting to them. And on his own merits, Jackson Jr. has all the makings of a future multi-time All-Star. This should allow him to compete alongside the best of the best in the international stage. But beyond that, for the 2023 World Cup in Indonesia, Japan, and the Philippines, the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris and beyond, Jackson Jr. seems to be like a core part of the American squad. There are countless reasons to buy stock in Jackson's future: his stylistic flexibility, his shooting range, his defensive activity, his physique, his respect for the game.